Streamer University wasn't your average campus. Forget libraries, football games, and cafeteria gossip. This was the wildest experiment in streaming history. Imagine locking a group of upcoming streamers inside a dorm, surrounding them with cameras, challenges, and a live audience cheering or booing their every move. It wasn't just entertainment, it was survival of the loudest, funniest, or most dramatic. And when the dust settled, two groups emerged: the most loved students who captured hearts, and the most hated ones who made enemies everywhere. So today, we're breaking down who rose as fan favorites and who walked away as Streamer U's villains. Let's start with one of the most unexpected success stories: the Brazilian kid with broken English who somehow became a national sensation. When Kai first spotted him, he wasn't some polished streamer with expensive gear. He was just a kid from Brazil known for selling candy on the streets. Nervous as hell, but full of heart. His English was choppy, his timing awkward, and half the time he looked lost in translation. But here's the thing, the audience loved him for it. His mistakes were hilarious, his honesty refreshing, and when he laughed at himself, everyone laughed with him. At first, people thought he wouldn't last a week, but then came his breakout moment. A random night where he accidentally mispronounced a word so badly it became a meme. The clip went viral, and overnight, he was no longer just a contestant, he was a star. Within weeks, he became Brazil's #1 streamer. Imagine that, a kid who barely spoke English walked into Streamer University and walked out a national icon. That's the magic this place had for the most loved students. But for every success story, there was a disaster waiting to happen. And no one embodied disaster better than Rakai. From the very beginning, Rakai thrived on chaos. He wasn't just a class clown, he was a full-blown disruptor. If there was peace, he broke it. If there were rules, he bent them until they snapped. First, it was harmless stuff. A prank here, a loud joke there. But then came the Chop Trio, his little crew dedicated to stirring up drama. Suddenly, dorm fights weren't rare. They were routine. One of the defining moments came when he pulled up to class wearing a ski mask, acting like it was all a joke. The staff didn't think it was funny, neither did the audience. But Rakai thrived on the negative attention. His crowning achievement of bad behavior came with the Orbeez gun incident. For days, people debated whether it was harmless mischief or reckless stupidity. Either way, it got him expelled. And when the awards rolled around, he was immortalized with the title no one wanted: Worst Behavior. Rakai didn't just make history at Streamer U, he made a cautionary tale. Now, while Rakai earned the hate, another student earned laughs and love by being the exact opposite. Reggie, also known as Girl Funny 1X, was chaos in human form, but the kind people actually enjoyed. He skipped classes, cracked jokes at the worst possible times, and constantly got chased down by Kai for not taking things seriously. One unforgettable night, Reggie was set up on a date. Everything was lined up for him to shine, and he blew it in spectacular fashion. Instead of charming his date, he sat there fumbling with fries like they were Rubik's Cubes. The audience couldn't stop laughing. He might not have been the smoothest guy, but he was relatable, funny, and never took himself too seriously. When it came time for awards, no one was surprised when he won Class Clown. Unlike Rakai's destructive antics, Reggie's chaos was the kind people actually wanted more of. But not everyone's story was filled with laughs. For some, Streamer University turned into a soap opera of heartbreak and betrayal, and no one knew that better than Kaya. At first, Kaya was one of the bright spots of the program. Fun, energetic, and known for her cooking segments, she quickly earned a reputation as the campus sweetheart. People loved tuning in to watch her whip up meals, laugh with classmates, and just bring positive energy into the chaos. But that image came crashing down at the infamous frat party. Rumors spread like wildfire: cheating, disloyalty, backstabbing. One moment, she was everyone's favorite. The next, she was trending for all the wrong reasons. Zay, the guy she was linked to, went on a Twitter meltdown accusing her of betrayal. Screenshots, cryptic tweets, subtweets, it was all out in the open. Kaya, of course, denied everything, framing it as misunderstandings and exaggerations. But the damage was done. In the eyes of many, the betrayal was real. It didn't just end her relationship, it tainted her entire run at Streamer U. and overnight she shifted from one of the most loved to one of the most hated. Then there was Kai Wu, the complete opposite of all that drama. She wasn't the loudest, she wasn't the funniest, and she definitely wasn't looking for scandal. At first, some people barely noticed her. She kept her head down, stayed out of drama, and just quietly participated. But then something happened that changed everything. Kai Wu was suddenly at the center of a bullying scandal. Viewers noticed moments where she was being picked on, excluded, and dismissed by classmates. Clips circulated, discussions blew up online, and soon she was in tears on stream, confessing how much it was getting to her. That raw vulnerability struck a chord with the audience. Donations poured in, messages of support flooded her chat, and she went from overlooked to beloved almost overnight. Kai herself promised to do a Minecraft collab with Kai Cenat if things got better, and the internet never forgot that. When awards came around, she was crowned with one of the most honorable titles, Heart of the Community. But while Kai Uo rose through compassion, Avery spiraled in the opposite direction. Avery was revealed as the alleged bully in the Kai Uo saga. Whether the accusations were fair or not, the internet decided quickly. Avery was guilty. When confronted, she gave a shaky apology and offered an awkward hug. But by then, the damage was irreversible. The audience wasn't buying it. TikToks exposing her spread like wildfire. Clips of her defending herself only made things worse, as people accused her of playing the victim. Out of everyone, Avery may have had the hardest fall from grace. She came in as a promising student, but left branded as one of the most hated faces of the entire program. And then came Ray and his twin, two bundles of chaos wrapped in identical smiles. Ray was naturally funny, the kind of guy who could brighten up a room without trying. His twin, though, was the devil on his shoulder, pushing him into more and more mischief. Together, they were unstoppable. From storming Kai's office with wild energy to pulling harmless pranks around the dorm, they became fan favorites for sheer entertainment. They weren't toxic, they weren't cruel, they were just reckless in the best way possible. Their antics had this contagious quality. No matter how stressed or annoyed you were, once the twins showed up, you couldn't help but laugh. They had timing like comedians, coordination like performers, and the chemistry that only twins could pull off. Fans clipped their funniest moments and shared them across platforms, making them mini celebrities outside of Streamer University. Professors rolled their eyes, classmates shook their heads, but secretly, everyone loved the chaos. When the awards were handed out, no one was surprised when they won Best Roommates. Their energy was unmatched, and in a sea of drama, they were the comedic relief the audience desperately needed. Finally, let's talk about one of the most infamous sagas of Streamer University, Dabo and Ya. If Rakai was the chaos villain, then Dabo and Ya were the toxic couple that everyone loved to hate. Their story had all the ingredients for entertainment: romance, drama, betrayal, and it didn't take long before they became the campus headline every single week. Dabo came in already attached with a girlfriend, Ya, who wasn't just any newcomer. She was TikTok famous before she even stepped on campus. Her clout gave them a spotlight from day one. At first, people were curious. Would they become the power couple of Streamer University? Would Ya's online presence blend with his grounded personality to make them unstoppable? For a moment, it looked possible. They had the chemistry, the attention, and the potential to dominate the narrative. But curiosity quickly turned into disgust as their relationship unraveled in front of everyone's eyes. Arguments that should have stayed private became public spectacles. Their disagreements weren't small spats either. They were explosive, messy, and impossible to ignore. Accusations of infidelity flew across classrooms and streams. Class disruptions escalated into shouting matches, and Ya earned a reputation for gaslighting Dabo in front of the entire campus, leaving him defensive and humiliated. It was like watching a reality TV breakup unfold in slow motion. Painful, awkward, but impossible to look away from. The harder they tried to patch things up, the worse it seemed to get. Every make-up moment was followed by an even bigger blow-up, and soon their drama became less about love and more about survival in the public eye. By the end, neither of them came out unscathed. Dabo looked worn down, always caught between defending himself and trying to hold things together, while Ya's once bright reputation was dragged through the mud. What could have been their chance to rise as the ultimate power couple instead spiraled into one of the ugliest sagas in Streamer University's history, a cautionary tale that reminded everyone just how destructive it can be when personal chaos becomes public entertainment. And that's the thing about Streamer University. It wasn't just about streaming skills. It was about how you handled pressure, fame, and the constant eye of an audience that judged every move. Some people like Brazil's breakout star and Kai Wu proved that authenticity and heart could win over millions. Others like Rakai, Avery, and the Dabo Ya duo showed how quickly the internet could turn on you. When the final bell rang, the awards summed it up perfectly. Best roommates, class clown, heart of the community, worst behavior. They weren't just funny titles, they were legacies. Streamer University wasn't just content, it was a social experiment that proved one thing: fame doesn't change you, it reveals you. And in the end, the students who stayed true to themselves became the most loved, while the ones who couldn't escape their worst instincts became the most hated. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Streamer University's most loved and hated students, let me know which side you'd fall on. Would you be the heart of the community or the villain everyone remembers? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.